Inside Wrestling Radio coming right back at you. Got JD Costello here in the studio. And JD, again, I just want to thank you so much for coming down, man. This thing has been a wealth of knowledge. And I really wanted you to get your story out there. And like you said, there's been a lot of internet stuff, a lot of back and forth. And I really wanted you to come in, tell your side of the story, and get it out there for the fans to hear and know what you have to say about it.
Thank you.
Quick question I had for you. Let's backtrack just a little bit before we move forward. Did the National Wrestling Alliance assist you in any way with all this stuff that was going on? Did they offer you any assistance?
None whatsoever. They, it's like we bought the name from them. It is an organization, but it's loosely held and very disorganized, and they offered us no assistance from the start to the finish. They were of no help during the shows, before the shows, or after the shows. And there was quite a bit of jealousy amongst the NWA members, the success that we were having.
Is that right?
To be quite honest with you, without naming names, a certain promoter that owns the Georgia territory that participates in NWA anarchy no longer is too much of a friend of mine. Other promoters. It's an organization that I wish that could do a lot better these days. It has such a tradition and heritage and respect, but it has absolutely no respect today, and that's very unfortunate. And one of the things that we are doing right now, several members are wanting to sell their territories. There are only 17 members, so the inquiries are out there that if possible, we could get a hold of about 9 of those territories. We would pretty much be in control of the NWA.
Wow.
And we would probably replace several leaders at the top.
Unbelievable. Sounds like another conspiracy might be in the works.
We're investigating that. Whether it will work out or not, I don't know, but it's a big business deal, and several people are interested in it. So,
well, good luck with that.
Yeah.
You had alluded earlier to something maybe going on in Greenville. Can tell our listeners about that, because that's just right up the road from where we are now.
There's a new organization that's wanting to form here in Greenville, and I think they have done just about everything necessary. They're looking for a building right now, and when that does happen, I have a good feeling that it will happen. I would love to be involved in that, sort of my hometown, and I think they're planning to have shows every 2 weeks, and I think there is a hole here for good quality wrestling, and we'll see what happens with that.
Okay, and who will be the promoter behind that?
It's all I can't go into that right now.
It's all top secret.
Yeah, but it will be called Atlantic Coast Wrestling.
Atlantic Coast
Yes.
Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to go back. You said the NWA had a rich history, and it does. And it used to be such more of a respected organization.
Yes.
I really hate the fact that they didn't get behind you when all your troubles were starting. And it sounded to me like it's almost a group where success breeds contempt.
It is. Everybody who owns who is a member there, they do exactly what they want to. There is absolutely no quality control with the NWA. There are 18 members. We were the 18th member. Anybody can become an affiliate. There's no control. There's several affiliates across North Carolina that are basically the worst promotions known to mankind.
There's no governing body anymore. It's just basically a figurehead?
It's a shell, and Bob Trowbridge is an attorney in Charlotte. He was the attorney for Jim Crockett Promotions, and the only reason he's the executive director, he does it for free, and he's an attorney, and he can file all the papers every year. But the organization, I love the NWA. The NWA.
I grew up on NWA.
If it was just put together right and run properly and had good television, it could definitely be one of the top 3 organizations in the country, because everybody knows the history of that.
They do, especially in this area. When you're in the Greenville area and Spartanburg, this whole coast basically.
Right.
We grew up on NWA.
Right.
And a stake went through my heart when WCW shut down, because that was like the last bastion.
Yeah. In fact, the NWA after we shut down, it was real funny. We never did give up our territory, but we never did pay our final dues either. We were never asked to. We were never sent an invoice or anything. One day, Bob Trowbridge shows up at our office, and he says, "Well, I want to start running Charlotte again. Is NWA in Charlotte?" And I said, well, you can't do that. We still own the territory, right? No, you don't own the territory. We took it back from you.
Really?
And well, you know, to make a long story short, they do what they want to do the way they want to do it. But he saw the crowds there. He saw it, so he wanted to try
wanted
it.
a taste of the pie.
He's tried it twice and has failed miserably. The crowds weren't there for him. This other promoter in Greenville, Promoter X, we'll call him, had NWA New Beginnings with the promise of running monthly shows. He folded after 2 shows because the crowds weren't there. So everybody who has attempted to come back and do something with it has been very unsuccessful.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, JD, that's just amazing. Do you have anything else you want to tell us about coming in the future? I had Charlie Lane here. He's another promoter. He wants to step in, I think,
Sure.
talk to you promoter to promoter.
That's
and
good.
I'm going to step outside of that because I'm a worker. I don't care what you guys do. Don't want to know what you guys do. So now I'll give it over to Charlie.
Good.
All right, I'm just going to talk just a couple quick questions,
Sure.
JD. Just to give our fans a little difference, I've asked you before we started, you know, here in South Carolina, the promotions we run together in more of a friendly atmosphere most of the
Right.
time. What was it like with other promoters there? I mean, were all of them pretty much like the dealing you had with this one promoter that turned you in? Was it, or did you
Well,
get along
there's
with
that promoter. There's another promoter up there. His name's George South. I don't know if you know him or not. I have nothing against George. He's been around a long time. He used to be a jobber for WCW and for Jim Crockett, and he runs his own promotions up there. And he always liked me up until the point we started running. And everybody is very jealous if you have success in wrestling. Everybody's very cynical of you, and you know, smiling faces do tell lies, and you just have to watch who your friends are and who they're not.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've met George. He's worked for me a couple of times, and like I said, I haven't had any problems with him. But I don't run in North Carolina either.
Right.
Did you ever have any? You know, I have to deal with workers, and from time to time, you got those workers that you just wish that you could, you know, bury somewhere. You had
Right.
any workers that just didn't want to get with the program, or?
Well, we had a payroll every time we hired the workers that we wanted to come in. If any were uncooperative or didn't work out, they didn't come back. So we picked and chose who came each week and who didn't. And yeah, there were several who, they thought they should win. They thought they should be the top stars, and when they weren't, they didn't want to play, so they didn't come back. So
Yeah,
That's
I've
really-
had a couple like that. I took a title off one guy, and he left me and trashed me on the internet for several weeks after that. And
yeah,
This
that's
is-
typical. That's
Yeah.
typical.
yeah,
You have to
you
have,
know,
you've got to have real thick skin to be a wrestling promoter.
yeah, I found that out. We talked earlier, and one thing me and JD agree on: when you're dealing with wrestling, you got workers and you got people to help you, but you don't have very many friends.
No, you're alone at the top is what it is, and sometimes it's a very lonely place, and sometimes it's a fun place. We went into business to be fun, and some of the fun wasn't there, so that's why we took a break.
Well, JD, we're running out of time here. That's the only questions I got. I've got no beef with you, no problems. If you ever want to come down and see one of my shows, I'd love to have you down.
Thank you.
No problem.
We'll be right back, folks. We really appreciate JD coming in. JD, I just can't thank you enough, my friend.
Thank you.
2 weeks in a row coming down to Lawrence, South Carolina. We really appreciate it. Maybe we'll have to buy you lunch or something like that. Great interview. I really appreciate the time you took, and maybe we'll have you again. We're going to talk about maybe doing a promoters roundtable in the future. Maybe we'll have you in for that.
Yeah.
Any final words?
No, just thank you very much, Rikki. I've always thought a lot of you as a friend and as a worker, and hopefully we can work again together sometime.
Sounds good. JD, take care, my
Yes,
friend.
sir.
Inside Wrestling Radio.